Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And I would respond to the member for Canberra. I don't see any wind towers within Canberra at this point in time. I'm sure that you would welcome them here. I would also remind the member for Canberra that Australia's contribution to emissions is 1%. In fact, it's less than that. The key enabler of renewable energy projects are transmission lines. I was proud to support Mallee residents visiting Canberra today who met with members from both sides of the House and the Senate to make their voice heard on the VNI West transmission project in my electorate. As the member for Mallee, it's my job to ensure my community is seen and heard and listened to. I am very, very concerned this Labor government is simply not interested in listening to farmers and regional communities. These custodians of the land, and I'm referring to the farmers, are threatened by the Albanese government's race to a political target of 82% renewable generation by 2030. At federal and state level, Labor have enabled renewable energy proponents to abandon any social licence, and they ought to be ashamed, and run roughshod over farmers in my electorate of Mallee and beyond. Farmers and landholders are giving that clear feedback to my electorate office, and they have given it to the Australian Energy Infrastructure Commissioner, Andrew Dyer. The VNI West project runs through Mallee and people's homes, and a classic example is Matthew McLaughlin from Charlton. The VNI West threatens Matt's farm and his family home. Imagine if his home was in suburban Melbourne or Sydney or Canberra. In fact, his family's home is historically significant. The 125-year-old mud brick home was also the childhood home of World War I hero and former Victorian Senator Harold Edward Pompey Elliott. Matt has been raising the agricultural impacts and heritage impacts of VNI West's proposal, but the proponent, Transmission Company Victoria, TCV, has given him jargonistic answers and tokenistic consultation. And this is a picture, Deputy Speaker, that I would say is happening across Mallee and not just Mallee. Matt's family are in despair, and they are not the only ones in Mallee who will have to abandon their family home. The Australian Energy Market Operator, AEMO, and TCV, in AEMO's unique Victorian arrangement, have been emboldened by the Albanese Labor government and Energy Minister Chris Bowen. Their actions are in lockstep with the government's Rewiring the Nation plan. This morning, I supported a delegation of Mallee farmers meeting Minister Bowen, including Canya's Marcia McIntyre, Ben Duxon, Glendon Watts, Gerald Feeney and Alex Matthews from the Southern Wimmera Renewables Research Association. Many of these Mallee locals drove for about 8 hours to get to Canberra. That is how passionate they are about this topic. Australian Energy Infrastructure Commissioner Andrew Dyer reviewed community engagement efforts by transmission and energy project proponents in regional communities. Farmers and farming communities have very strong bull dust detectors. In effect, Mallee residents and other regional communities nationwide have collectively told Commissioner Dyer they feel like they have been buried in bull dust. Here's some stats from the report. 92% of respondents were dissatisfied with the level of engagement. 85% dissatisfied with the developers' explanations in response to their questions. 89% respondents said they received information irrelevant to the concerns they raised. 93% of respondents did not see their concerns satisfactorily answered. Abysmal community consultation and a ham-fisted handling of social licence is why farmers in Mallee started protesting with my support in St Arnaud, in Horsham when the Prime Minister visited, on the steps of State Parliament in Melbourne, and today a number in the crowd outside Parliament House here. Many landholders involved in the wind turbine negotiations do not realise it can cost up to $600,000 to decommission each turbine, and they will be holding that bill.